Mario Muschamp is off the coast of Punta Gorda. He's heading to a beach in the Port Honduras Marine Reserve where sea turtles nest.
This is actually one of the better nesting sites for turtles here in the Marine Reserve. And so one of the things that we do during this time of the year is walk these beaches and look for any nesting activities. And then what we'll do is we try to identify the species by measuring the track from what we see in the sand. And then we try to locate the nest. Once we locate the nest, then we take measurements of how far that nest is from the high tide mark, just to get an idea.
The green turtle, the hawksbill, and the loggerhead are three of the species that commonly nest across Belize. These turtles play important biological, cultural, and economic roles in our country. While Belize still has a healthy population of these sea turtles, they're endangered, and so their numbers are dwindling worldwide.
All sea turtles have varying degrees of endangered. They can be vulnerable, they can be critically endangered, or they can be data deficient. So for instance, the hawksbill is critically endangered, and it's been protected the longest here in Belize. In 1993, the fisheries regulations were amended to include complete protection for the hawksbill turtle. So that meant that it could not be harvested for food, for the shell, or to make jewelry. So yet that was some time ago, and still today, people are observed selling articles made from the hawksbill turtle shell.
Since 2002, all sea turtles in Belize are protected under the Fisheries Act. While the last sea turtle offense was committed over 3 years ago, the Fisheries Department says that when it comes to these offenses, there are habitual offenders largely concentrated in one area.
Since 2013 to present, there have only been 4 arrests made for sea turtles. And I must also state that all was a 1-year period. One in each year. One was in 2014, 15, and in 16 and 17. The last matter that we took before the court was 2017. The fines for it is $2,000 or 1 year imprisonment, or both fine and confine, right? So the magistrate have the discretion of using that. With the new act, it falls under a section that for the general penalty of the new Fisheries Resource Act, which up to $50,000 someone can be fined for piece of a turtle. Here in Belize district is one of the most problematic area when it comes to marine turtles. I mean, majority of the other part of the country, coastal wise, people are very educated, very knowledgeable, right? And we do have what you call like two bad eggs, or people who just don't get it, all right? Because all those 4 offenses are right here in Belize City.
And so it's important to safeguard the nesting sites to maintain a robust population of sea turtles. In Punta Gorda, tide rangers monitor several miles of beach where hawksbill turtles nest primarily. But they're losing eggs and hatchlings due to predators. And what's even more worrisome is that they're losing nesting sites because of erosion.
From what we're seeing, we would say roughly somewhere between 50 to 60 animals are nesting along that stretch of beach. So that's not a bad number. And from what we're seeing, predominantly they're hawksbill, so the more endangered species. So it's very crucial for us here to really protect those beaches and ensure that we get good survival, good success from those nesting sites. So we're actually losing beaches. And with that, we're losing nesting sites, and that's very crucial to the population, the population status, because if there are no more nesting beaches, then eventually you're going to lose your population of turtles. And we see that erosion is one of the big problems happening along our coastline.
But sea turtles have been under pressure for decades, and that's why over 20 years ago, a group of conservationists came together to raise awareness of sea turtles in Belize. The Belize Sea Turtle Conservation Network leads the advocacy for these marine animals through data, research, and education. But these sea turtles remain at risk, with humans posing the biggest threat.
But the human threat can be it can also be change in the shoreline. Other threats to sea turtles in Belize include discarded fishing gear. So it's really important to know where your fishing gear is, or not to throw garbage in the sea or even in the river. So it's possible that sea turtles will consume plastics and other marine debris. And so it will cause a clog in their intestines and they won't be able to pass it, and then they can die. So probably humans are definitely the biggest threat. Coastal development, also boat strikes.
But it is costly to monitor sea turtle nesting sites, and resource for enforcement is a challenge. The conservation community relies on educational campaigns and the support of the Belizean public, as well as people like Mario Muschamp, who walks for miles on a beach to map the nests on GPS and monitor them throughout the nesting season to ensure that hatchlings make it out to sea.
That's 14 miles of beach to walk. And so we try to do it in sections. So we have one day we go and cover a certain section of the beach, and because we are rangers, we don't only do this. We have other things that we need to do, so we can only allot so many time to do it. It's a bit time consuming, but for me, very rewarding in the end when you go back to those nests and you start seeing, those little hatchlings getting back into the sea. That's really rewarding for me, and so I really enjoy doing this kind of work.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Andrea Polanco.